Hello, fans. Jay. Oh, excuse me. Hello. Yes, this is he. Yes, verified charges of... Okay. No. No, those have to be fraudulent. $1,500? No! No, I haven't... Wait. Where did those come from? Steam. Oh, the summer sale. Oh. I spent $1,500 on the summer sale? What am I gonna do on rent? What about moving the Baron? And the Duchess? What about the games? Damn you, game! I apologize for that outburst, fans. Jay Wellington Romefeller here. I thought I'd turn what amounts to a massive negative into a relative positive and review something from my money-drunk rampage of the past week. The title that I am deciding to review actually wasn't on sale, but I picked it up anyway, which was just so stupid! No. It may not have been on sale, but Penny Arcade's antics are too lovable for me to not pick up the game. That's right, Penny Arcade's On the Rain-Slick Precipice of Darkness 3 has manifested itself in front of me, and I have it straight in the sights of my review rifle. Has it done justice to the previous series, or has the reincarnation actually brought it shame?
Penny Arcade's On the Rain-Slick Precipice of Darkness was to be an episodic series developed by Hothead Games. The first game was met with much anticipation and enjoyed warm critical success and marginal monetary returns. The fate of the second was much harsher, receiving only a third of the sales. Hothead decided to dedicate its resources to making Deathspank, and Jerry Hulkins, the writer of the series, elected to post the ending to the games as a work of short fiction for free on the internet. His regret at not being able to deliver a game experience dripped from his words like poisonous molasses, and I really felt for him. Describing the process of swallowing the bitter pill of defeat is difficult, but we've all felt it in the pit of our stomachs in some form or another. And so Rainslick languished, in a strange between state, completed but not really finished. But hark, some years later, Penny Arcade approached Zeboyd, the two-man team behind Cthulhu Save the World and Breath of Death 7, and thus the series was reborn in a radically different style, but with the preserved Penny Arcade vibe.
For full disclosure, I jumped into Rainslick 3 first. I never actually played the original two titles. Now, was I nervous about getting into a series 3 games deep out of 4? You bet your best pair of comfy pants I was! However, I was told that these fears were unfounded by 1/3 of the creative force behind the team. Did he turn out to be right? Surprisingly so. I didn't really know what was going on in the very beginning, but after exploring a few things, maybe the first hour of gameplay, I was properly set in the world, I knew who the characters were, what the backstory was. I didn't even really need to play the original two titles. So if you're worried about jumping into the series now, don't. In fact, the only thing that was confusing to me was Jim. Jim is a skull in a jar of some type. It doesn't matter. I wasn't really sure when he came into the series. Was he from the previous two games? Is he a new addition to this one? And then I sort of realized, why do I care? If I'm gonna start questioning why is there a skull in a jar on my team, why am I fighting mimes? Why am I fighting crabs? Stop questioning it. It doesn't matter. The game is great on its own. You don't need to play the original two titles to enjoy it.
The gameplay harkens back to NES or SNES RPGs, the good old-fashioned 16-bit stuff, with an active time battle mechanic like in Grandia, featuring one bar showing when every character's turn is. Each character can control up to 3 classes, each granting its own abilities and stat boosts. The enemies are also shown on the map, allowing greater control over when to fight, and they do not respawn, eliminating one of my main sources of frustration with many other RPGs.
This game is about as solid as a game can get. I encountered absolutely no bugs, or glitches, or uses of the tilde key. In fact, it seems like a lot of modern games want to take advantage of my light programming skills and make me respawn items, or respawn people, or reset quest lines. I'm looking at you here, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Oblivion, Skyrim, just... Bethesda! Looking at you, Bethesda! A little bit of Obsidian... Whatever. The point here is that the game felt solid. It felt like I couldn't break it. I didn't have to tread lightly. There weren't any glitches that I had to worry about. There weren't any running through walls. There was absolutely no trace of that. The game was just responsive and worked immediately. Although now that I think about it, the core may have been a little too strong. By that I mean, there were no frills, really.
A typical staple of Zvoid games is the simple visual style. Choosing to closely resemble older RPGs was had very few frills. I think when faced with the battle stylings of Breath of Death, that's fine, but seeing more elaborate character animations and more involved writing and a more cohesive world made me expect more. It felt like maybe a month or two more development on animations would have done the battles in this game a world of good. I mean, compare the first fire spell you get in Final Fantasy VI to the one in this game. Cool. Not cool. And the visual styles are similar. Tycho even kind of looks like King Edgar. Maybe I'm reaching here, but it felt like the experiences in this game were not all consistent. When the writing and world building is that involved and the drawings of characters are that well done, I expect more out of my animation. Also, the music didn't repeat well. This may seem like a small thing, but it's mildly annoying. And compound that with the music getting boring after the 50th time hearing it, and it's worth noting. I'm all for producing a moist, prize-winning, delicious cake, but it seems less great when there's no frosting on it.
If there's one area Rainslick 3 excels in, it's the story. Clearly, Jerry Holkins is a very gifted wordsmith, and he uses his talent well here. I felt like I wanted to know more about the universe once I finished the game. Like, I wanted to find out more about the Brahe family line, or the history of New Arcadia, maybe some of the other towns, and some of the lore behind it. That's really the marking of a good story, not only in video games, but in books and movies, is you want to know more about the universe. It feels like there's more to find out. That's how well constructed it is. And I love that about this game. I could spend not only 4 games, upwards of 10 games in this universe, just finding out more about who these people are, where they come from. And I can't wait for part 4. So yes, if you're looking for a game that has great story, look no further than Rainslick 3.
The humor in this game is bursting from every possible dialogue box, from conversations between characters to the monster descriptions, read all of them, to my personal favorite, the classes. From my favorite class, the Gentleman, and who didn't see that coming, to Hobo, to Tube Samurai, and beyond. The classes for this game are increasingly ridiculous, and it's incredibly fun to watch them grow and see what abilities they reap. You could even turn into a dinosaur. How horrifyingly radical is that?
And another great thing is that 3 packs of DLC have already been announced for the game, the first of which had already come out before I made my purchase. In this patch, you can gender swap the characters, you can also swap them for furries, depending on whatever your fancy is. There are some bug fixes, and there are some balance issues corrected. Now, generally, DLC rides a very thin line with me, and you'll know that if you've read some of my reviews. Don't worry, I won't cut to the Oscar's Wrath thing again. However, all of the DLC in this game is free. Yes, if you purchase the title, all of the DLC will be automatically downloaded to your computer. And that's something that's rare in games these days. Just like the solid core, free DLC you don't find very often. I like that. I like that a lot. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Zvoid. And the second pack of DLC that comes out is having to do with the Seamstress. A bit of the story is going to be extended and some more gameplay, so look out for DLC for Rainslick 3, and also, just keep in mind, you won't be having to spend a dime on it.
So what's the verdict? Is it worth the paltry $5 price tag for a well-written piece of work whose visual style is less appealing than its predecessors?
Absolutely! Though I wish the art style of Rainslick 1 and 2 had stuck around a bit longer, and believe me, I will be playing those. I love this game. Now, I wish they would have pushed the visuals just a little bit harder and made the game look a little prettier. I mean, Final Fantasy VI looked at least 30% better on my arbitrary artometer, and that was made in 1994. Although, the story is world-class, the jokes are side-splitting, and I can't think of a better way to spend $5. But I can think of a better way to spend $1,500. I think I'm gonna be sick. Oh, this has been Jay Wellington Romefeller, coming to you from the depths of depression, bidding you a good evening.